swimmer, or hi everyone. I've just been checking out my eggplants, which I put some protection on in order to try and keep them lasting. But unfortunately our cold nights at -4 and -5 have meant that even with my cloches, they're all dead.
Bok, I'm Mandy O. This is Grow, Make, Cook, and welcome to my garden. I grew up in Australia in a permaculture family, but after we got married, Mr. O and I moved here to his home country of Croatia. I am a passionate and hands-on homemaker and gardener, and I love life's simple pleasures. So join me on my journey, and together we can learn to grow, make, and cook. This is the first week in December, or Prosinac.
These poor dear, lovely, soft-leaved plants. They're fabulous, but I think I'm going to need to grow them in a greenhouse if I want to try and make them last here at all. I do adore eggplant. I think that it's one of those vegetables that I really want to be able to have a good supply of. And the harvest from these guys, when I planted them in about March last year from seed, has been quite paltry. We've only had a couple, I think about 3 in total from 4 plants. It's a very, very bad average. So I have been having a look, and I think I'm going to start sowing them much earlier this year. Eggplants need a really long growing season in order to develop the fruits, and I think what I did was sow them at the time it said on the packet, which was March. However, I am thinking that I can probably get away with sowing my eggplant inside under protection much earlier. Down here, a little bit further away from my main garden beds, I've really let this garden bed go. Over summer, I was not here for a while, and this garden bed is now full of dandelions and grass and nettles and, well, it doesn't look much like a garden bed at all. But it has got my blackcurrant, or ribis, and I adore blackcurrants. I think they are just delicious. I love that tart, little bit acidic taste, the little bit of sharpness. They're not entirely sweet. And for me, they are one of those fruits that is very expensive or impossible to buy, but very, very easy to grow. Now, soft fruits are something that I believe every garden should have at least a little bit of space for. I think, well, it's a plant and forget kind of plant, and that's evident from the fact that this garden bed has had very, very little care. But they do want some pruning. So now is the time to prune your blackcurrants, apples and pears, so long as all the leaves have fallen off and they've gone dormant like this. Now, lots of people are really intimidated by pruning, and well, I don't think you should be intimidated by anything in your garden, but there are a few really simple rules to follow. And the first one is anything that crosses like this. So where one branch crosses another, and you can see that they've started to rub. Now this shoot in the middle here was actually the shoot that started them all. But it's time that this very old shoot up the middle came out. Now there are a few things to think about when you're actually making your cut. One, you don't want to leave a very big collar. So cut low and close. This is very old. You can see that it's still got the tag on from where we bought the plant. So it's the oldest shoot in there, and it's time for those really old stems to come out. You can see that there are a lot less buds on the very old timber. So in order to rejuvenate and refresh things like currants, you want to take out the oldest wood. They'll produce the least amount of fruit, and they're likely to be close to the middle. And what you want to do is create a very open shape, like a great big goblet or a dish or a bowl. You want the center empty and letting lots of light and air into the plant. This helps to fight off disease and allows the plant to really thrive. But then you also want to aim to take out this old wood at the same time. So in my case, because I didn't prune this last year, I've got these two very big thick stems right in the middle, which I'm going to take out, which will give me a whole lot more air and light and shape to this plant. So just taking that cut on an angle so that you can see that the water will slide off. So at an angle with a very short collar, and so that I'm allowing this shape to form. So I'm taking these middle pieces out and leaving the bits on the outside that branch out. I think that's probably almost enough. Just take out this. Now this here is dead wood. So there are 3 D's when you're pruning. You want to take out dead, diseased, and damaged wood. Anything that is going to increase the likelihood of your plant getting sick needs to go. So this dead bit here, that comes out. That dead bit there can just go away. And that's looking much better, much more airy and open, and all that old wood in the middle is gone. So that was an easy and quick job done. Good girl. Majish. Now, black currants strike really easily from cuttings, and this material that I've just taken out will make a load of them. And because black currants are so delicious, and I love black currants, I can't get enough of them. What I'm going to do is just take some of these dormant stems, cut them off at an angle quite close to these little growth points. So chop him off, and then I'm going to snap off the actual little buds right at the growing point. And then I'm just going to poke him into the ground. Now, because they get quite big and bushy, I'm taking it away from my stepping stone a little bit. But I just think here, around the edge of my garden, like I've got in other places, close to the edge makes for nice bordering plants. Down here, at the edge of the garden bed, it's down a little bit deeper, kind of underneath the edge of the elder, where I planted a lot of my tulips last year, has been all dug up and eaten by moles or voles, probably voles. They've gotten in and they've clearly eaten up all of the bulbs that I planted in here. The whole area is just loose and dug up, and even the roots of these poor cabbages, which honestly didn't do very much. I don't think there was enough feed down there for them. It maybe is not quite rich enough soil for cabbages down in this part of the garden. So they didn't do anything much. But all of the underplanting of spring flowers looks like it has been demolished. So I'm going to put in, probably actually a little bit further down, I'm going to put in a black currant. Just like that. And this hopefully will give a little bit more continuous flow to the garden along here. But I think I'm going to have to plant my next lot of tulips into pots. And this is to stop all of these hungry critters eating up all my flowers. Well, that's nice and solid in there now. And he wants a good mulch. I've been a little bit slack with this. I've got a lot of cardboard down without the wood chip on top. So I need to get in and start mulching up to protect this soil layer while it's a little bit more bare, and there's not so many of my annual plants now in here. They've all died back, which exposes a lot of the ground, which means time to protect my soil, stop all the nutrients washing away with these winter rains, which is just feeling like it's starting, so now is probably a really good time to say that that'll be all for this week. Alright, so if you like what we're doing, please like the video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and if you want notifications, use the bell icon below. And until next week then, do widzenia.